Hi, I'm Lynn, the creator of Dearly Loved, a place for faith, family, fun, and a whole lot of Disney. Thanks for joining me today on Dearly Diary, where I want to talk to you about Whozits and Whatzits galore, or the things I love to pack for my Disney trips. And I have to warn you, I'm not a light packer. I will never graduate to the packing and scrunching everything into a carry-on club. That's just not me. So I just wanted to get that up front to tell you that I'm not a light packer, and I'm not going to be talking to you about the basics that you'd pack. So the clothes you'll pack, the everyday basics, the toiletries, those sorts of things. What I want to talk to you about are just things I love to bring from home to just enhance my trip and enjoy it even that much more when we're back in our hotel room or when we're traveling. So the last trip I went on, we stayed 6 nights at the Contemporary, and then we stayed the remainder of our trip in a large rental house just right off property at Disney World. And these tips will work no matter what Disney trip you're going on, whether it be to Disneyland, the Disneyland Resort, Walt Disney World, on a Disney cruise. These are just things I universally love to bring with me when I'm traveling or whenever I'm on a trip to Disney. So I'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I love that we fell in love with actually this last Disney trip were these travel pillows, and they're super comfy. We had a flight, this was my kids' first time flying, so they come in junior sizes and adult sizes. They're really comfy. They'd help on a road trip, or they'd help in your plane. I highly recommend getting a very comfortable, durable travel pillow for you on your trip. That's one tip. Let's see, what's my next one here? Oh, bins. I did these bins for our toiletries for the family for the Contemporary, and we actually then transferred, and they worked out great at the rental house too. But if you go on TripAdvisor or any of those review websites, probably about 9 out of 10 reviews talk about the problem with storage space at the Contemporary Hotel. I guess they have these really avant-garde large square sinks. There's 2 of them in the room, and there's really not much counter space. There's literally about this much space. It's about this wide a strip between the sinks. But underneath, I noticed there was a shelf down below. So I solved that problem, and I have a picture here. This is the bathroom at the Contemporary, and here's the shelf below. So the sinks are up here, and then here's the shelf below, and I made these bins for our trip. I'm going to show you the bins, and you're going to get a peek at just how OCDD I am, obsessive compulsive Disney disorder. So I personalized them. I had one for my husband. His was John's Junk. I'm going to tell you how to personalize those here in a minute. For myself, I had Lynn's Luxuries. For my oldest son, I had Riley's Rations. For my middle son, I had Robin's Relics. And for my daughter, I had Kate's Caboodles. And so I packed all of our toiletries, all of our bathroom products in these bins. I bought the bins at Target. You could get any bin, really. And we had, so we each had our own bin just to have whatever we needed. Our bath soaps. They had lids, so it kept it, didn't get all the moisture in there, kept it from just getting dirty. And they worked great in the Contemporary Hotel. They worked great when we were split up into different bathrooms at our rental house. And I had fun decorating them. What I did was I printed out, and I'll give you the link, button templates that were provided on one of my favorite Walt Disney World websites. And I printed the buttons, but in this case they were just labels, out on 8.5 by 11 sheets of label sheets through my printer, and then I just put a sheet of laminate over the sticker to keep it sort of waterproof. to help waterproof it. That's one of my favorite tips, is to have these personalized bins, and then I could just pack them in the kids' suitcases or our suitcases with all of our toiletries and bathroom products. It worked out great and it was a lot of fun. I also like to bring my own washcloths. My favorite place to get, these are very well loved washcloths. I have just stacks of these at home. I don't like to use the hotel washcloths for bathing, so I like to bring my own washcloths, or you can find a whole gamut of Disney scrubbies that you could bring for your kids. And the best place I found for the washcloths is at the dollar store. They're larger than the ones that Disney might sell in their stores, and I found that they have a better variety. I really like getting them there. You can find the scrubbies anywhere. It's also fun to bring Disney bath soaps for the kids, the bath gels, and you can find those at any Target, Walmart, at any of the stores that you might shop at. My next tip is I love to bring pop-up hampers, and not just for dirty clothes. I will use those for our laundry. I'll pop one up in the bathroom and set it in there so everybody knows where to put their clothes at the end of the day. But I love to bring the pop-up hampers. They pack completely flat in your luggage. They don't take up any space, and when you get to your room, they're great for clutter control. My middle son loves stuffed animals. He confiscated some of he talked his sister into bringing extra stuffed animals for him in her carry-on. So it was a great spot at the end of the day to just pop one up next to the bed so that he could just throw all of his stuffed animals in there, all of his goodies from the day. They're just great for keeping the room tidy, for keeping things out of the way but that you need to access. Maybe put them under a desk. I love to bring pop-up hampers for all kinds of things and not just dirty clothes. And then when we're getting ready to pack and come back home, make sure you bring a laundry sack, maybe one for each family member, to pack their dirty clothes in to put back into your luggage. And I love that tip too. Another thing that I like to do is I love to have pump soap in the bathroom. I don't want to use the hotel's little bar soaps. I want pump soap in my bathroom just like at home. So you can find Disney type pump soaps at your local Target. This is where I got this. It's Method brand. I know that Lysol No Touch soap systems have had Disney brand No Touch soaps as well if you want to purchase those. But I love the pump soaps, and I love that you can get them in the cute Disney styles. I also like to, if it's a special trip, I like to go and pick out, these are actually beach towels, but bath towels. I use them as bath towels for the kids. It cuts down on the amount of towels we're using in the hotel room, so there's always plenty of towels in the hotel room, and we just hang these back up and reuse them, and the kids have their own special bath towel for the trip that they can just reuse. I also, for my hair, will bring my own Turby Twist from home, just a hair towel to cut down again on how many towels we need in the room, because it always seems they're in short supply, but you know, that way we're sure to have enough at the end of the day. Oh, I really enjoy having a magnet board in the room. Magnet board. Yeah, a magnet board. This is one I had in our room, and now it sits by my bed at home. And you'll notice in the park you accumulate little paper things. I don't know, just little stickers, or you used to accumulate fast passes. They still have the old fast pass system at Disneyland Resort, or just little stubs, mementos. Maybe you go to a restaurant where they give you your pictures, or you buy your pictures from either a ride or a meal out. And I love having a magnet board just set up in the room to have just, you know, sort of a decoration, a fun little thing to see, you know, how our trip's progressing. So that's one tip I love having in a room at Disney. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, lights. It gets dark in hotel rooms and they're unfamiliar. So either a nice set of string lights, and I'll put a link up to one of the sets of string lights I bought for our last trip. If they still have them at the Disney store, they're these really great Mickey headlights. or just even a fun nightlight. These I bought at the dollar store years ago, but you can find these at Target, Walmart. Just go to the section with the nightlights and you're sure to find a Disney type nightlight, and it just helps. A string of lights, a nightlight in an unfamiliar and dark hotel room, especially if you have kids. I like to bring my own pillows on trips. It just makes me more comfortable. So if you can just squeeze as much air out of your pillows as you can to get those packed in your bags, I highly recommend it. It's just nice to have that peace of home and to not rely on unfamiliar surroundings. We used a space sack or a large Ziploc bag, and we just squeezed as much air out as we could out of our pillows, and they were really fairly easy to pack. Slippers, I love having slippers in a hotel room. These are actually from my Etsy shop, Dearly Loved Slippers. I wore these on our last trip, and these are just cheap hotel slippers decorated for Disney. I actually gave a pair of slippers to all of the adults on our last trip at our rental house, and they were my sister's favorite thing. It's not fun walking around on unfamiliar floors, and once you get out of the shower and you just want to stay fresh, slippers are a great item to pack to just have that little touch of home with you. I also really like to bring a candle with me whenever I'm in a hotel room. These are fantastic candles, and they come in all sorts of Disney scents. This one is Glass Slipper, and it was my 20th anniversary on our last trip in Cinderella's castle at Disney World, and I just thought Glass Slipper would go great for that. This is an extra one. It has glitter on the top. It's just so pretty. I love this candle company, and I'll put that link up for you as well. If you don't want to burn a candle in your room, always be careful, of course. If you don't want to burn a candle in your room, scent memories are so wonderful from your trips. Get a plug-in, even a nice bath gel that you use and you only use for that trip. Every time you use it or you smell it at home, back at home, you remember your trip, and it's just a fun way to create memories. Let's see. I wanted to give you this tip. If you bring, which I bought us glasses for the room, you know, for ice water and things. If you bring dishes from home, or if you have an infant and you're washing bottles, a great tip for your room is to take just a regular sponge, buy a sponge, pour some Dawn or some just dish detergent on that sponge, not too much, and let it dry overnight. And then cut that sponge up into, you know, squares about this size. Put them in a sandwich bag and bring them on your trip, and you just take one of those out and you have an instant soapy sponge when you run it underwater to use in your hotel room. I wish I could remember where I read that tip so I could give credit where credit is due, but it worked out fantastically this last Disney trip we went on. So again, just take any sponge, go ahead and put some dish soap on top of it, not a lot. Let it dry overnight. I just put mine on a paper plate and let it dry overnight. Cut that up into just cubes about so big. Stick them in a sandwich bag, and you have the perfect little instantly dehydrated, but instantly once you get them wet, sponges ready to use to wash out dishes in your room. Also, I like to bring on trips, if you know you have enough room, disposable cups, maybe some disposable utensils, paper plates, napkins, a roll of paper towels depending on how you're traveling, and maybe some little salt and pepper packets. It's just nice to have in the room if you get takeout, if you order a pizza. It's nice to have those conveniences in your room. Also, depending on what phase it is for your life and your family, you might want to consider purchasing just a cheap plastic step stool to take with you on your trip. If you just turn that upside down in your luggage, you can pack in the step stool, and that could be really helpful if you have little ones that have a hard time reaching the bathroom sinks in your hotel room. That's another tip I'd like to give. One thing, after all those things that I've told you about that I would pack for my Disney trip, one thing I would suggest you not bring on a trip to either Disneyland Resort or Walt Disney World are beach towels. I packed our beach towels along with our swimsuits, and I did not need them. If you go to your hotel's pool, it's very likely that they'll have towels down by the pool area, or they'll just ask that you bring your towels from your room and just ask for more from housekeeping. And if you go to either of the water parks at Walt Disney World, you can rent a towel, a large towel, for a very reasonable fee. And it just is one less thing, one less bulky item to pack. I packed 5 beach towels and we really didn't use them at all for our family. So I would just say that that's one thing you don't need to pack for Disneyland Resort or for Walt Disney World. I want to leave you with one of my favorite verses, since I'm talking about packing. Not really doesn't really lend itself to a Bible verse, but this is one of my favorite Bible verses. And it's Ephesians 3, verse 20. Is it 20? Yeah, it's 20. Sorry, my eyes are going. I couldn't tell if that was a 28. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us. I have a big imagination, but I love knowing that my God's imagination is so much bigger than mine, and that some of my best days are yet to come. And that makes me excited for my next Disney trip. I think that's all I have for you for now. I hope that helps. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.